Hello friends, welcome back. I hope you remember what we learned yesterday about we saw the seriousness of poverty. We saw the example both people of urban area and rural area how they are suffering due to abject poverty. They are not even able to have proper meal. In spite of all the family members working without even going to school, their children are working, but they are earning very little, so that way they become suffering. They are suffering from malnutrition, suffering from sicknesses. They are not even able to buy medicine. So all these problems that they are facing, and we saw the different reasons how the social scientists are analyzing not only lack of food and shelter, but lack of education, lack of health facilities, lack of sanitation, lack of job. All these are also causes of poverty. So let us see what is the meaning of social exclusion today. We shall see social exclusion. What do you understand by social exclusion? So you can take your economic textbook, page number 31. So according to this concept, that is social exclusion, poverty must be seen in terms of the poor having to live only in a poor surrounding with other poor people, excluded from enjoying social equality of better off people in better surroundings. So, in our understanding, we say the poor people are living together in one area, one colony. We can say all the people living there are miserable. They have no job, they have no good health, no access to the society, they are not enjoying equal status. Other side all rich people, this side all poor people. So they are excluded from the society, we can say. They are pushed to the corner. You are poor, therefore you stay there. That kind of understanding is there. And social exclusion can be both a cause as well as a consequence of poverty in the usual sense. So, when people are excluded from the society, when they are not able to experience equality in the society, then what can happen? It can happen, it can be a cause of poverty, and it can also be a consequence of poverty. And broadly, it is a process through which individuals or groups are excluded from facilities, benefits, and opportunities that others enjoy. So, when we say people are excluded socially, that means what other people are able to enjoy, these people are not able to enjoy. The poor people are not able to enjoy what the rich people are able to enjoy. What are they? Like facilities, the facility that others have got, the poor people are not able to get. Or the benefits, sometimes government schemes and other benefits are there, but it is not reaching to the poor people. Or other opportunities, maybe to get job in the office, the rich people or the influential people will try and they will get it, but the poor people are not able to get job. So that is the situation when people are excluded socially. Then a typical example is the working of a caste system in India, in which people belonging to certain castes are excluded from equal opportunities. So people are excluded, people who belong to a lower caste, because caste system is very strong in India, and therefore people belonging to the low caste, they are not given equal opportunity. They are other people who are belonging to other castes, though they have equal qualification, educational qualification, the poor people are not considered. Other people are considered first, and the poor people are ignored. So they are excluded again. And social exclusion thus may lead to, but can cause more damage than having a very low income. So even if we are having a very low income, but you are excluded from the society, you are not given equal opportunity. When others are having meeting, you are not allowed to enter, or others are eating food in the hotel, you are not allowed to enter inside. So when such kind of exclusion are there, then they are affected more than the poverty, that they don't have job or they don't have money. So when people are in finding equality, Even if they are poor, they are considered equal in the society. Then there is a lot of confidence is there in that person, a lot of self benefits, you can say. He feels that he is someone, he is honored, he is equal to others. That kind of self feelings are there, good feelings are there. That is also more important. He may be poor, doesn't matter. He may be not having job, doesn't matter. But if he feels that I am accepted in the society, I am equal with others, that will give a lot of good feelings to him, that will bring a lot of good strength, we can say. It will provide a lot of strength for him to work hard and to overcome the poverty in his life. Now another term is vulnerability. Let us see what is the meaning of vulnerability. Vulnerability. So vulnerability to poverty is a measure which describes the greater probability of certain communities, say members of a backward caste, or individuals such as a widow or a physically handicapped person, of becoming or remaining poor in the coming years. So vulnerability means it is a possibility that some people are possible to become poor. There is every chance to become poor, that is they are vulnerable. If it is at this case, or if it is going on in this way, then those people can become poor, they can remain to be poor. That is the meaning. For example, people belonging to lower caste, if the government is not doing something to uplift them, and they will continue to remain poor, or they will become poorer and poorer. Or in the case of a widow, her husband passed away, children are not there to help her. Therefore, if the government or the society is not doing something for her, then she will starve and she will die. Maybe she is sickly, she cannot do the work, therefore she will die. She will become very poor, unhealthy, and so on. So there is a possibility of becoming poor and becoming poorer. That is called vulnerability. So vulnerability is determined by the options available to different communities for finding an alternative living in terms of assets, education, health, and job opportunities. So government has to provide something for them, like they should be able to find a different alternative living. If they are continue to live in this situation, they are going to be poorer and poorer. Therefore, government should provide them something else to live a different situation. Maybe to provide education, or maybe to give them little land and a house, or maybe to give them some good health or a job opportunity, and so on. So government should change their situation. If they are left to live in that same situation after a few years or in the future, they are going to be poorer. Therefore, government has to provide something for them to change their life situation so that they can overcome the poverty. Then further, it is analyzed on the basis of the greater risk these groups face at the time of natural disasters like earthquakes, tsunami, terrorism, etc. So if government is not taking care of them, then these people will be facing greater problems in their life. For example, when there is a natural calamity like earthquake or tsunami, or where there is terrorism and so on, then these people, nobody is there to help them. If the house is collapsing due to earthquake, where will these people go? Or when there is flood, where will these people go? Or if there are some terrorists are there disturbing the society, who will help these people? So always there is problem is there. Therefore these people should be helped by government, then only they will be able to overcome their poverty. An additional analysis is made of their social and economic ability to handle these risks. In fact, vulnerability describes the greater probability of being more adversely affected than other people when bad time comes for everybody. Whether a flood or an earthquake or simply a fall in the availability of jobs. So when these situations become bad, like with an earthquake, or when there is a flood, or when there is a fall in the job opportunity, many people are losing their job these days because of COVID-19. Many factories are closed down, job opportunities are lost, many people are not having job. The construction workers, they have lost their job. So if the government is not doing something, then these people will be affected, these people will be suffering, and it is the responsibility of the government to reduce the vulnerability, so that they can look ahead to future with confidence that there is some chance of for us to overcome this present situation, this present crisis, and will be able to become lead a better life. So that confidence should be there, that feeling of self confidence should be there, then only they'll be able to overcome. So for that, the government has to come forward, and they have to do something for the people in order to help them. That is what we are expecting from the government. Next, let us see about poverty line. What is the meaning of poverty line? Poverty line. So, at the center of a discussion on poverty is usually the concept of poverty line. So, poverty line, you must have heard about line. BPL means below poverty line, MPL means above poverty line, and so there is a line that is separating the poor, and those are below the poverty line, and those are above. Those are below, it means those are poor, and those are rich. That's a line passing through. An imaginary line is there. So a common method used to measure poverty is based on the income or consumption levels. So one of the common way of finding out whether a person is poor or not, whether this person is below poverty line or above poverty line, is they'll calculate how much is his income, how much is his consumption. So if he gets 50 rupees and if he is able to not able to manage with that 50 rupees to buy food, to buy shelter, to buy medicine, all that. If he is not able to manage, then he is poor. If he is able to manage, then he is just in the middle level. And if he is able to keep some extra money, spare some money, maybe spend 40 rupees and save 10 rupees, then he is above. So that is the ordinary way of considering, finding out whether a person is poor or not poor. Thinking about or finding out how much income he has got and what is his consumption, how much he is consuming. Then a person is considered poor if his or her income or consumption level falls below a given minimum level necessary to fulfill basic needs. So government has decided that for a person to fulfill his basic needs, that means to have the meal, to have shelter, clothes, and medicine, all that. So for a person, he needs at least this much money is required for one day use. So if he is able to get that much money, then government considers that he is not poor. And what is necessary to satisfy basic needs is different at different times and different countries. So for everybody, the basic needs are not same in different countries and different places. For a person living in the village, his basic need will be different from a person living in the town. And a person living in India, his basic need will be different from a person living in America. So it is different from place to place. And therefore, poverty line may vary with time and place. And each country uses an imaginary line that is considered appropriate for its existing level of development and its accepted minimum social norms. Therefore, it is not same everywhere, and what is today is not same. 10 years ago, the basic need of a man is not same today. And 10 years ago, then people could easily live without TV, without mobile and so on. But now, The basic need means a person needs a mobile, he needs to communicate with others, he needs TV, he needs to know the news. 10 years ago he was not worried about that, but now it is a real concern. So as the time is progressing, our basic needs are also increasing. Therefore what we have to do? There should be an accepted norm. So government should study the situation of the particular locality, what is the basic need of the people living here, and how much money they will require to meet all that requirements, basic requirements. Accordingly they should fix. So this is the amount, and if they are able to earn that much amount, then they are not poor. So that is how government finds out. For example, a person not having a car in the United States may be considered poor. In India, owning a car is still considered a luxury. So in America, if a person is not having personal car, then all will say, oh, he is very poor, he has no car of his own. But in India, nobody will say, oh, he has no car, therefore he is not poor. But if he is having a car, then people will say, oh, he is very rich, he is having a luxurious life, he is having a very rich life. So, car is not considered as an essential thing in India, but in America it is considered as an essential thing. Then while determining poverty line in India, a minimum level of foods requirement, clothing, footwear, fuel and light, educational and medical requirements, etc. are determined for subsistence. So in India when we say a basic requirement means, what are the things included? The things included are the food requirement, he should be able to eat good food for all his family. Then should be able to buy proper clothes and footwear, shoes, sandals. Then fuel and light, he should be able to buy fuel, maybe to use light the lamp. He needs to have kerosene for cooking food. He needs to have kerosene, or he needs to have LPG gas, or he needs to have light the light. He needs electricity. Then children should be allowed to go to school, educational facilities should be there, then medical requirements should be there. So all these things are considered as essential. Nothing is extraordinary. Everything is just normal, and everything is considered as basic requirements. Therefore, a person to say he is above poverty line, he should have enough money to meet the expenses of all this, and only he can say he is living a normal life. Then these physical quantities are multiplied by their prices and rupees. And so how will the government calculate? Government will calculate to have food, how much money is required. To go to hospital, how much money is required. To go send the children to school, how much money is required. To buy kerosene and other fuel, how much money is required. Or to buy other dress and footwear, all that, how much money is required. So government will calculate and see how much money is required total, and if he is able to earn so much, then they'll say he is above poverty line. But his earning is below that total amount, then they'll say he is poor. So that is how they calculate whether a person is above poverty line or below poverty line. The present formula for food requirement, while estimating the poverty line, is based on the desired calorie requirement. Food items such as cereals, pulses, vegetables, milk, oil, sugar, etc. together provide these needed calories. So when we say a person should be able to have enough food, that means he should not be malnourished. He should be able to eat food with having proper calorie of energy. So he has to eat the cereals, pulses, vegetables, milk, oil, sugar, etc. All these things are essential when we say he has got food. So only just having rice and dal alone is not enough. All these things are essential to have a healthy life. So you should be able to buy all these things. Then the calorie needs vary depending on age, sex and type of work that person does. Again, every person need not have equal amount of food. A person who is doing manual work from morning till evening, he needs more calorie, therefore he needs to eat more food. And a child who is just small, he doesn't need same amount of food than his father is eating. So he needs little less food. And the mother, if she is doing very hard work, she also needs good food. And if she is not doing very hard work, then she may require less food. So according to the age, according to the sex of the people, they need their requirement. Food requirements are also different. Usually male people are eating more food and the females are eating less food, isn't it? Because male members maybe their body structure is like that though, so they have to eat more, or they are doing more work outside, then they have to eat more food. In the other way, if the women are doing more hard work from morning till evening, then they will require more food. If the men are not working, sitting only at home, means they may require less food. So according to persons, the food requirement, calorie requirement also is different. Then the accepted average calorie requirement in India is 2400 calories per person per day in rural areas. So, people who are living in rural areas, they should have 2400 calories. People who are living in the rural area, they should have per day 2400 calories. And people who are living in the urban areas, they require only 2100 calories. So people who are living in the rural area, they will be working all the more. Morning till evening they will be working. But people who are living in the urban area, they may not be doing so much work. Therefore they need less calorie. And people who are working in the rural area, they require more calorie. So you can underline what is the requirement of the calorie people who are living in the rural area and people who are living in the urban area. Then since the people living in rural areas engaging themselves in more physical work, calorie requirements in rural areas are considered to be higher than urban areas. So why they require more calorie here? Because they are doing more hard work in the rural area. They will be digging and working from morning till evening in the village. And the monetary expenditure per capita needed for buying these calorie requirements in terms of food grains, etc., is revised periodically, taking into consideration the rise in prices. So the government will see how much money is required to buy food for 2400 calories or to buy 2100 calories. And so he needs rice, dal, milk, sugar, all this. So government will decide to get this much calorie, how much rice is required, how much dal is required, how much sugar is required, how much milk is required, all that government will calculate. And what is the price of rice, what is the price of dal, what is the price of milk, what is the price of sugar, he will calculate. So how much money is required. And always the price is not same. The price of the rice this year may not be the same next year. Next year the price may increase again. So accordingly the government will revise. So this year maybe to get 2400 calories we may require 200 rupees. Next year 200 rupees we will not get this much calorie food. We may pay another 250 rupees or 220 rupees. The price may go up. So accordingly from time to time government will see what is the price of things, how it is increasing and how much money they have to spend for buying food for this much calorie and so on. Then on the basis of these calculations for the year 2000, the poverty line for a person was fixed at rupees 328 per month for the rural areas and 454 for the urban areas. So government calculated the price and they said a person in the rural area, if he is having 328 rupees, so 328 rupees, then he will be able to manage food having this much calorie. Then the urban means he needs more money, 454 rupees. So because in the urban area the food is more costly, things are more costly, therefore he requires more money to buy. Though the calorie is less, he needs to spend more money because in the town everything is costly. But in the village means he'll be able to get food from his own garden or from the jungle and so on. So for 1 month, if one person is getting 328 rupees for 1 month, he can manage the food having proper calorie. That is a calculation of the government. Then despite less calorie requirement, the higher amount for urban areas has been fixed because of high prices of many essential products in urban centers. And in this way, in the year 2000, a family of 5 members living in rural areas and earning less than about 1640 per month will be below poverty line. So one person requires 328 rupees. So in a family, if there are 6 people in the rural area, then we have to multiply with 6. What will be the amount? Rural amount. A family of 5 members living in rural area. If it is 5, then the total amount should be 1640. So he needs 1640 rupees per month. So if his income is 1640, then we can say that person is not poor, he is above poverty line. Then a similar family in the urban areas would need a minimum 2270 per month to meet their basic requirement. So if they are living in the town for family of 5 members, then how much money they will require? They require 2270 rupees. So a person of 5 families living in the rural area, they will require 1 month 1640 to meet the basic requirements, and a family of 5 members living in the urban area, they will require 2270 rupees per month in order to meet their daily expenses, food expenses and so on. Then to meet their basic requirements, and the poverty line is estimated periodically, that is normally every 5 years, by conducting sample surveys. So this is fixed by the government. So if they have this much money, then they are above the poverty line. So after 5 years, government will revise again. How are the people's income increasing or not? The price of the things are increasing or not? The government will check from time to time. After 5 years, then they will revise the target again. And these surveys are carried out by National Sample Survey Organization. So we can underline who is responsible for making this survey to find out people are above poverty line or below poverty line. So there is an association made, that is National Sample Survey Organization, NSSO. You can underline that they are responsible for this for making this survey. Then, however, making comparisons between developing countries, many international organizations like World Bank use a uniform standard for the poverty line. Minimum availability of the equivalent of $1 per person per day. So in India, this method is followed in order to find out whether a person is rich or poor. But international organizations like World Bank, they have different method of finding out whether a person is poor or not. They say if one person has got the equivalent of $1 per day, then that person will be above poverty line. So $1, that is commonly mentioned. So in each country, if you calculate the money equal to dollar, it will be different. In India, $1 means it will be equal to 75 or 78 rupees. So that is for 1 day. Some other countries, dollar may be equal to 100 rupees in their country, or some other country maybe $1 is equal to 50. So each country it is different. So in order to have some uniformity, the World Bank, the association of the whole world, the World Bank has fixed this method, that is a person having equivalent of $1 per day, he will will be able to manage his basic requirements, he will be above the poverty line. So that is how they consider whether a person is rich or not. If a person is able to earn $1 per day, then he is okay, he is above poverty line. So we shall wind up today, and in the next class we will continue again to go deeper and deeper to study more about the poverty, the situation, the struggle that people undergo, and so on. And moreover, we will find out how to make the poverty estimate, how to find out how many poor people are there. All that you will find out in the next class. So till then, have a nice day and bye.